All right, people, what's good? What's good? What's good? This is for the lag of God. And today we are talking to producer Big O. What's good, Big O?
Everything's all good with me. How's everything with you, man?
Hot as fuck. Hot as fuck.
Yeah, it is hot, man.
Oh,
Hot as hell.
man, it's horrible. It's horrible. I don't mind the sun. Do you know what I mean? Like you wouldn't believe it to look at me. I fucking look like a
Yeah.
ghost. But and transparent as fuck. I'm almost see-through, do you know what I mean? But I'm like glass, I'm so fucking pale. But yeah, like I like I like the sun. I like the sun. I like spring, autumn, so like summer I'm thing, but when it's humid like this, man, it's horrible. Like 'cause you can't do anything. It's almost like it just sticks to you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, the thing about over here is I love summer. Me being from the South and, and all that shit there. Um, we have this thing called AC.
Yeah.
So when it gets really, really hot, it's cool. You can go in the house and just cool yourself down. Whereas over here, AC is non-existent. So
Hmm.
when it gets really, really hot for people, the walls start sweating and you're baking inside and outside. It's unbearable. So I can understand people not liking summertime over here.
Yeah. I think like bit of a weird thing, but the thing is with us, I think like our houses were built to keep the warmth in,
Yeah.
whereas everywhere else is built to let the like. It's horrible, man. But you know, it's all
No,
right.
the weather over here is, the funny thing is this type of summer that's happening over here, it's the hottest it's been for me since 2018. 2018 was wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, it was unbearable. And it feels like what happened in 2018 is about to happen over here this year.
To be honest, man, I can't remember 2018. I just know that every summer's fucking up.
Now, like it wasn't like this last year. Last year it was a little
I
moderate.
pissed down like a lot. I remember
Yeah,
pissing down a lot last year, but to be honest, man, I can't remember. I can't remember 2018. I can just about remember last year. I could just about remember yesterday.
damn.
And fucking man, it's there's a lot going on. There's a
Yeah,
lot going on. But anyway, fuck the weather. We just, we'll get through it. We'll get through it. I got me fucking little cloth thing, so we're all good. But
yeah.
yeah, right. In your own words, who is Big O?
Oh man. Big O is a man that's been making beats since 2000. Developed the love of music when he was 6 years old, listening to his grandma play Thriller on the record player. You know, 99, listened to one of my favorite albums of all time, 2001. After I listened to that album and I heard the next episode, it just clicked inside of me, and I was like, you know what? That's what I want to do. I want to make beats. That beat changed my life.
Was it sorry, did you say which you said the album, like
Hmm
2001. What track was there a track specifically?
Yeah, the next episode.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Next episode, when I heard that, I was like, you know what? That's it. And the crazy thing is, the album came out in '99, but I think it was one of the DJs that was doing a mix in 2000, and how he brought it in, it really it hit me like that a year later, and I just started playing around and trying to make beats in 2000, and as the years progressed, I feel like I got pretty good at it.
Definitely. I enjoy your stuff.
I
I
appreciate
enjoy
it.
it. Got a nice I don't know if you intentionally go for it, but I'd say a calming aesthetic.
But yeah, some people be telling me that my music can be calming and relaxing for people. I have people tell me that they'll use it when they're smoking, or they'll use it when they're studying, or just chilling out and relaxing, and that's cool. I love it. Uh,
Mm,
the thing about my music, I go through different type of phases. So 1 minute, when I first started making beats, I was on the trap beat uh,
yeah.
side of things from 2000 all the way up to 2006. I was doing a whole bunch of trap beats. And then I started trying to get into trip hop from 2007, 2008, was messing around with that. And I would say like 2009, 2010, I kept trying to get into the soul chopping aspect of beat making because at the time, Ninth Wonder was just everything to me. And I
Mm,
tried to make beats like Ninth Wonder. After that, um, I would say from as soon as I moved to LA, I moved over to the West Coast, excuse me, because I started in the Bay Area. I started getting more so into the West Coast field of things.
mm.
So when I moved from Florida to San Francisco, I started getting like really, really heavy into like hyphy Bay Area and like just drawing inspirations from there. And
Mm.
then once I moved to Germany, I felt more calmer once I left the States and I started making lo-fi music. And I was making lo-fi from 2014 all the way up until I want to say 2023.
Yeah.
Everything was lo-fi. But after I felt like I mastered that, I want to go back to my roots and just make music for me. So for the past couple of years, I've just been making music that feels good to my soul, whether it's boom bap or experimental
Mm.
or back on the West Coast shit. Everything I make right now is for me.
Well, I was gonna say it should be anyway, but that sounded like a bit of a cunt answer. No, I agree. Like, was there anything that kind of like you say making music for you now, but before then, was there anything that sort of played into you, wanting to do like lo-fi? Was it an what's the word? Like an outside pressure or something that made you feel, I want to do this.
No, it was the environment I was living in. So since I was more in a calm state, and I liked the environment that I was living in. I
Mm,
started making slower, relaxing beats and started making things to make people feel good because at the time I was feeling good. Not saying I don't feel good now, but when I was making beats, it kind of eased into that. And at the time, lo-fi didn't even have it didn't have a genre name.
mm,
You just called it calm, relaxed type of hip hop.
yeah.
But now people coined it as lo-fi. But back then, when I started making it, when I was living out in Germany, I was like, this makes me feel good. It does something to me. It gives me like a nostalgic feel. And I
Mm.
just kept going on and on with that ever since.
I do love a bit of lo-fi. It's not like don't have to think, you know what I mean? You just feel it. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I like about it is it can be anywhere, whether you want it to, as you say, nostalgia, whether you want it to reflect on something or,
hmm
you just want something in the background that's, like a certain style or something. It's oh mate, it's lovely.
Yeah, this is it's one of those type of genres that it just make you feel something. It's I think that's the best way to describe lo-fi and describe that type of sound. It's mostly based off of you trying to capture a moment in your life and put a soundtrack to it.
I'd say that's music anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I've said this before. I don't know, but with yourself, with your albums, and then singers and stuff with their albums, I feel like well, I mean, I don't know. It's just me, but I feel like every album is kind of like your checkpoint in your timeline.
hmm
You know what I mean, so it's like you could go back to your early stuff and be like, where was Big O then?
Yeah.
And then you could come to now and be like, fuck me, this is where Big O is now. You know what I mean? So, and then you've got, I don't know, it's just, how when you started making beats and kind of how it was then, and you might be a little bit cringe about it, you might not, I don't know, but that's what it's like then. And then you come to your next one, and you come to your next one, and you can't, and you see, well, you don't see it, but you hear like the progression and stuff like that, and then
Yes.
you kind of like
Yeah.
you feel that like the atmospheres change in some of them. It's like, oh, this one's a little bit darker. There might have been some. some stuff
Hmm.
here, and then and then you hit this one, it's a lot more vibey, and then this one, like, what I mean. So that's how I feel with music. Is like it's sonically your checkpoints in where you are.
Yeah, I agree with that. And the thing about what you said, I do that all the time. I'll listen to some old joints that I made that's not released. And I sit back, I listen to it. It was like, damn, what the fuck was I thinking when I made that? Or what was I going through? Why did I have my drum sounding like this? Or why isn't it not quantized correctly? It's I take a lot of the old stuff that I made back then, and I learned from it.
Mm.
I was like, I made it like this. Let me not make it like this again. Um let me go this direction, or hell, I'll go back and fix some of those records and then release them.
I was gonna say that.
That's another thing to do as well with making beats. But yeah, there's a check. It's a checkpoint to your creative part of life.
Yeah, because you can, like, with sit like singers and rappers and stuff, you can hear it. Well, in some of them, some might just say the same shit over different albums, or just
Hmm.
cry about the same girl for 12 songs. You know what I mean? But like, other than that, but others, you get, you grow up. Your first album's always going to be, you're growing up and your past and stuff,
Hmm.
um, and where you are. Your second one will be, well, again, it's going from more of a from a sign perspective. I mean, like you probably got thousands more between them, but the way that you sort of see it when they get signed is that the first one will be, the past, and they'll probably take like some of the more catchy songs from those older ones that aren't as recognized, and then
Hmm.
put them on, and that'll be the first. And the second one will be like, okay, we're just dabbling our toes in this. What we're gonna do. This is kind of like, we may have done a tour, we may have this, we may have that, but we're still doing what we're doing. And then the third one is kind of like you're a little bit more distant from that, and it's, you're coming into a new life. Uh, and how do we cope? And then the fourth one will probably be like completely different from all of those. And
Yeah.
now it's the new life. Now what are we? You've got the money, you've done the cars, you've done this, done that. It's like, okay, where are we? Where are we going with this? What's the next goal? What's the ambition? Are we like have we put our mum in a house here? Is grandma out the area? You know what I mean? That sort of thing. And I think that's kind of how it or how I see it anyway.
No, no, I look at it like that too. Like with me, since I'm indie, I look at my albums like my first instrumental album, Between Memory and Choices. That was me getting my feet wet with making an actual instrumental album.
Mm.
And it's rough around the edges, but I appreciate it because it pretty much set a tone for me.
Mm.
Now, my second project, as much as people, hit me up and appreciate it, I didn't like it. And the reason why I didn't like it because 2018 was pretty fucked up year for me. I didn't
Yeah,
I didn't really enjoy it. And my best album in a company of others was supposed to have come out that year.
yeah.
But I was almost blackballed in the industry, and a whole bunch of shit was going down, and some people reneged on their verses. So I pretty much made Instability out of anger.
Mm.
And it's like that album pretty much caught up with everybody, and everybody was like, "Oh, this album was this. I enjoyed it. This, that, and the third." Well, I couldn't really promote it because I was blackballed at the time, and nobody will pick it up because I questioned a certain person's morality in this industry and didn't know that person had all that power, and they tried to stomp me out. And that's ultimately why I hated that album.
That's some
But
bullshit.
it is, oh, bro, I'm telling you this, and I'm proud to go through it now as an
Mm.
indie artist because imagine going through something like that when you're on a bigger scale.
Oh
you're
yeah,
pretty
yeah,
much done.
yeah. Well,
So
I mean, you can't. Sorry to cut you up, but you kind of see it with a lot of them. Like,
yeah.
they'll release the album. It may not have done, as what they like. The singles might have got a lot of hype, but the album,
Hmm.
fell flat, or the project, whatever you want to call it. And then they kind of go from like artist to kind of like almost influencer, and you're
Hmm.
like, fuck, like something's happened here. And it's like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, when you're gonna get the next music? Oh, music coming soon, music coming soon. There's always music coming soon, but music never comes, and it just in the end you kind of, I don't know, I you just kind of become like a prized dick.
Yeah.
Like, and it's horrible to watch, because they've probably got something, but because this thing didn't go well for whatever reason, you miss out on whatever's coming next. And
Hmm.
then like their hands are kind of tied, because they're in that contract. It's
Yeah.
assigned to them. So it's like, well, what can, like, they've either got to pay themselves out of it, or find a way for the hype to come back around so that they can put the second one out. So yeah, it's a horrible thing to see like that, and I
Yeah.
horrible.
You see that with a lot of artists, and you feel for them as well because it's like I don't want to go through anything like that, and nobody should have to go through anything like that. In this industry, especially doing something that you love.
Yeah.
But it happens not only to those in the mainstream, but that shit happens to people here on the indie scene too.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I would say the indie scene is a hell of a lot more cutthroat because you got regular people who they couldn't, they didn't cut it in the mainstream. Now they're down in the indie circuit and they want to play God and fuck with people's
Mm.
release dates, uh, piss people off, and just block you from getting to your next level. I consider myself lucky though.
Yeah. In that situation, to have to deal with, like someone's jealousy that just fucks with everything. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Just because you might have something, or they might be a bit jealous that you may have got a feature they didn't, or something, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It kind of makes me a little bit sick to think about the you know what I mean, the power
it's
trip.
bad. It's bad. It's a lot of power trip that goes on in the indies and the majors. Like, you know, the shit that I've been through when it comes down to this from, almost getting blackballed in the industry and making a huge bounce back the year later in 2019. Shout out to Chill Select for believing in me and giving me another chance because if it wasn't for them, I probably would still be in the right. So
Yeah.
shout out to them. But I also had people going around and pretending to be my manager and setting up things behind my back.
Wait, someone pretended to be your manager.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my days.
Yeah, pretending to be my manager and trying to set up shows and lying to me and my crew about the headliner, but our names and likeness are still on the flyer for the festival. And yeah, like, I've been through that shit too as an indie artist. So, I'm grateful to have gone through it now because if I was to make it to the majors at some point in my life, I already know how the game goes.
What would you say your biggest takeaway from that is, though? Like, from going through all of that.
Going through all of that is don't trust anybody. Don't trust anybody. Focus on you and your crew and just keep moving accordingly. And also, don't tell anybody your next step or don't announce some shit until you know it's actually right then and there. And if anybody try to invite you to a tour, don't get your hopes up or make sure you got your money up so you can take care of everything yourself.
And what about personally? Like, has it taught you much about yourself as well? Like, I don't know, like the resiliency that you obviously gonna need to persevere.
It taught me to be more patient and not lash out as much anymore. I'm more level-headed
Hmm.
because when when all of that shit happened in 2018, I had to crash out of a lifetime. Like people think Ye had a crash out on Twitter. I had a crash out on Twitter when all that shit was going on, and especially when I could see the people who, was doing the things that they were doing to me,
Mm.
and I'm watching everything happen in real time. Yeah, it'll make you crash out. But I
Mm.
think going through anything like that and seeing like injustices being happening to you in the industry, you don't lash out at it like that. You approach it a different way.
Quickly rewinding back. Even you released Instability in 18.
Yeah,
Yeah. So, you said it's your least personal favorite, but it was quite a well received one from the audience.
yeah.
How did it feel? Like, this is a bit of a two-part question. So, how did it feel with that audience reaction? That's the first half. But then, how does it feel to turn those personal lows, like, into something that helps people quite deeply?
See, when I made it, I made that whole album out of anger. It don't sound like I was angry, but
Mm,
I was just pissed off because I was like, well, these people reneged on the features they was gonna do for me, then I can't really promote this album. So, I just got in my zone and I made I just put some songs together, but I made it out of anger and I didn't expect this to have an impact on anybody's life. I was just making something to put out there.
yeah.
But as the years progressed and people was like, yo, this helped me relax. This helped me study better. This, no matter what it is, I started appreciating it more. And some of the songs that's on that tape, I actually perform it out there when I do shows. So
Mm.
it makes me feel good and appreciate it a bit more now because I couldn't see it in 2018 at all.
Knowing that those songs were performed in anger and or made in anger, and now that you perform them, do you see him like do you see it still with anger, or do you see it in a different way now?
I see it in a different way now. I couldn't see it then.
Yeah,
Well, when I'm, like I'm saying, when I made that shit, then I was so pissed off. I couldn't get it on any blogs. The people who had me on playlists, they took me off because of this particular person. I couldn't see it. I was pissed off, and I didn't know how I was going to bounce back from it. And that was potentially going to be my last project that I've ever put out.
uh,
That's how pissed off I was.
yeah,
But when I hear people tell me how much they love this particular song, My Life, I was like, damn, y'all really like that song, huh? And everybody was like, yeah, like I can't stop listening to it. I love how you chopped that sample and how you did this, how you did that. I was like, well, I was just putting some shit together. Like that, there was literally no thought process
mm,
in that particular record, but people like it. And I see it gets played on independent radio shows or people use it as background when they're speaking. And I was
mm,
like, wow, y'all really like it. So I started performing that song a bit more now
yeah.
when I do beat sets.
Another rewind question for you. You said you lived in multiple locations. How have all the different environments shaped your sense of mood in the music?
All these locations turned me into a super producer, honestly. It gave me ammunition to just be able to adapt and make anything that I want to make. Whether it's from living in the South, well, being from the South and being surrounded by trap music, I can tap back into that whenever I want to. Um, Being on the West Coast, tapping into that, the soul samples, I think all of these multiple locations that I lived in helped shape me better as a producer and also have a proper ear for what I love to listen to and what I love to create.
How does it feel being in London?
London, it's gritty. When I first came over here, it was my eyes was wide. I was like, oh shit, I can't believe I'm in London, da 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 da. As like the years progress, it's just like any other city I've been to. So it's nothing high, nothing low. it's just there.
Yeah.
So that's not a dig at the city, but I just put
No.
that in. I put that in like how it's like any other place that I've been to now. So it's nothing high or nothing low to me. It's just I'm here and I'm just creating.
Has it influenced at all, like musically, or?
Musically, it made me go back to boom bap briefly, but it made me go back to it in a period where I really loved it. So like not 94, 95 or anything like that. I'm talking about it made me go back to the Just Blaze early Kanye era where the drums were the stars in it
Mm.
and they were just going everywhere. So it just made me go back to that sound a little bit.
All right, I might be wrong on this, but you started producing at 13.
No, you're right.
Yeah. All right,
Yeah.
sweet. So you studied different film, different bits, with like audio engineering, and you've done work on films and stuff.
Yeah.
Doing the live audio and working with films, has it given you a different approach to storytelling as a producer?
Yes. Yeah. I can tell you right now, working on films or working on audio, that's two different things. And the approach to it will make you appreciate just audio as a whole a hell of a lot more. Like when I worked on this film, Love, Art, and Celibacy, I was a boom mic operator.
Mm.
So, it taught me to record everything you hear. You never know what the hell you're going to use. Um, that I applied that while being a boom mic operator out there in LA to making beats. If I'm listening to a sample, this is back when I used to put the record on and listen to something and just record it. It could be a track that's 10 minutes and some change. You don't skip through the track. You record and listen to everything. You never know what's gonna pop out at you or what you're gonna use.
But that's the one you hold up, like you hold up and over.
You hold it up over the actors' heads, and you got to step out of the frame, but you got to make sure you keep it there so everybody who's watching the film can hear the dialogue, and they got to be able to hear it in this entirety.
Apart from listening to everything, um, do you feel like working on those films and the way that they tell the concept of a film, is that something you took into production as well?
Yeah, I did. With the making sure you pick up every not wasting every sound. Make sure you apply that to your to whatever it is you're working on.
Another question for you. As you said, you got quite an intimate style. Do you find having that very like that quite intimate style helps you bring out a vulnerability in the artist that you work with?
Yeah, I think it does. And the style that I have, I never just want to make beats. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think that's what people get confused with a programmer and a producer. I'm both. A programmer is just a person that'll make a beat and give it to you. You do whatever you want. But a producer and a programmer, we're gonna make the beats, and I'm gonna get whatever artist that I'm working with. I'm gonna direct them and say, "Hey, I made this beat this way, so whatever you're saying, I want you to match what I've created to not only bring that vulnerability out of you as an artist, but I want you to inflict that on the audience as well, so they can feel what you're saying."
Hmm.
And I think that's also something that's missing in today's music. You got a lot of programmers, but you don't have a lot of producers because a lot of artists don't know how to be produced.
Do you feel sometimes they don't know or they don't want to?
It's a combination of both. Uh, and it's just everybody got a very, very bad time consuming, that their consumption is really, really bad. They just do everything on the fly and they don't really put any thought process into their music. And you can hear it when it comes out. It's like, did you not think this through? Did you not um
Hmm.
care about what you was working on, and you can actually hear it. Whereas when I make music, I actually care about it. I care about the artist more so. I care about the artist more so than the audience because I want the artist to get something out of working with me.
Definitely, definitely. Like, also, just before I touch on that one as well, but apart from the artists, not whether or not they want to be helped or not, do you also feel sometimes that producers just, or, well, producers or beat makers, whatever you want to call them, also feel that they sometimes don't want to help?
Some of them don't. Some of them they're just there to pick up the check and leave. They don't even care about the actual song. They just want to get paid and be out the way. And unfortunately, that's just how it is with some producers out there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm not saying not saying all of them. I wasn't like
Yeah,
generalizing, but no, I know there are producers out there that they care about what you put. Well, probably some probably care a little bit too, like probably way too much, but some do like some care about what you put on, because at the end it's like it's although it's lyric wise it's a reflection of the artist, production wise it's a reflection of you as well.
yeah.
You're both in there, and you can say this is I created this beat from this, like this
Hmm.
emotion, and then you're like, what does this make you feel? And they might say it makes them feel something, but then that gives you something, like, but then it's an common ground. And then it's
Hmm.
like, okay, why does that make you feel like that? Because blah blah blah. And this made me feel like this because of this. How can we bring those two together? Do you know what I mean? And then as well with that, it's the openness to sharing those ideas, and then that gains like the trust to be like, oh, do you know what? Actually, Big O was welcome to hearing why that made me feel something. I don't know, probably polar opposite to what he felt. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
then that opens up the trust, and it's like, well, if he's open to do that, and then you know you might sit there and be like, actually, that take was good, but I feel we could do this a little different, or what if you tried this and that? So yeah, I feel a lot of it is finding the right producer can make a big difference, like
yeah.
musically, confidence wise, all sorts of stuff as well.
No, absolutely. Like, I mean, it's more than just sending a stack of beats to an artist and say, "Here, have at it." You want to. It's supposed to be like a nice musical marriage between the artist and the producer, and you get together, bounce ideas off each other, and try to make the best art that you could possibly make.
You said in another interview as well that you like to brainstorm with the artist as well.
Yeah,
So all right, two parts for this one. One, how do you go about finding the right people for it? And two, how early in the creative conversation does that brainstorming begin?
with some of the artists that I work with right now, they always end up finding me.
Yeah.
It seems to be a little hard for me to actually go out and find an artist and just start from scratch now. Um, Mainly because a lot of them they're not fully dedicated, and it's all good. That's just the nature of the business. But like if an artist find me, I'll give you a perfect example. Me and Lou.
Mm.
Me and Lou known each other for years. He found me on SoundCloud, and he was telling me how much he messed with my sound, and he wanted to do a track with me. So we did this one record. It was called Peace Within Myself, and the record was dope, but it's still going to be in the vault. Nobody's gonna hear it. Um, we made the record. We was impressed with each other and how the record came out, and we was like, you know what? Nah, fuck it. Let's just do an album. So we decided to do an album, and 2 years before the album came out, we just started brainstorming, coming up with the title, coming up with a concept, how we wanted to approach it, what the theme is going to be. Like, we got all of that out the way first, way before I even started making beats and he started writing anything. We wanted to talk about the actual theme to the album, and what are we going to do? How are we going to approach it? Are there going to be any skits? How you want this album to sound sonically? We get all that out the way first.
Mm.
And I don't only do it with him, but I also did it with P-Rob. I did it with my brother Loki Loco. Um, I did it with Beach Amps. We will always talk about it first. And once we get on that same page, then we can start making music. And I had to do that with my other album, In the Company of Others.
Yeah.
In the Company of Others, that's still my favorite album to this day. And how I approached that, I was completely in the driver's seat. Like, this is my album. I'm producing it. I'm making all of the beats. You are all the guests to this album. I have a plan for it. I have a vision. I have a theme. This is the theme.
Mm.
If you want to follow this theme, come aboard. If you feel like you can't follow the theme, I'll holler at you. You're not going to be on this album.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much how my process is with making an album.
Yeah. No, I was quite intrigued, like intrigued by that. I can't remember. It was the last interview you did that I heard it on. I can't remember the lady's name, but it
Oh,
really,
DJ Queen B.
yeah, that's the
Yeah.
one. Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed that one. And when you said that, I was like, oh fuck. Like, yeah, cool. Fuck. It kind of reminds of like might be a bit weird, I don't know, but Dre and Snoop.
Yes, yes.
It reminded me very much of that. And when you see the videos of Dre, like when Dre and Snoop are together, especially the one where have you seen? Oh, well, you probably have seen it. I can't remember the name of the album. Fuck. I think it was Snoop Dogg's last album he did. I can't remember the name
Oh,
of it.
Missionary?
But yeah, might have been that one. But he's there. Snoop's in the studio, and he like with Dre, of course. But
Hmm.
he's there. He's recording it. But then Dre's like Dre's sitting here and like Snoop's over there. It's a thing, and then Snoop will record it, and then Dre will be like, "Oh no, actually, like like this, or
Yeah, that's
that was good.
Missionary.
That was good.
Hmm.
Let's stack that. Try that one again, but do it like this."
Yeah.
Again, kind of going back to what you were saying about produce like producers and stuff, but yeah, when you said it, it reminded me a lot of that of like going through it and again, I don't know if Snoop and Drake's like storyboard and thing. I mean, they obviously come up with a plan somewhere, but yeah, and it reminded me a lot of that. So then staying with that, when you like, and again, in the company of others was a great album as well, by the way.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
but then when you go into it, do you feel more like a director and a curator when once all your storyboards are down and your ideas and who you're getting, do you feel like a producer or like a director?
Feel like a god, bro.
Oh, that works.
I felt like a god when I made that album, man. That was like, this album was years in the making, and
Mm.
I had no idea it was going to turn out the way it turned out. And that was the album that was supposed to have come out in 2018. And it was supposed to have certain artists on there. And you know what? Even though I got blackballed and I went through the shit that I went through, I'm so grateful that I did, because if if I wouldn't have went through that, you wouldn't have gotten that version of In the Company of Others in 2023. That album was absolutely everything to me. It went through multiple changes. I ended up working with one of my favorite West Coast artists that I used to listen to, and now I developed a relationship with him. It opened the doors for so many things, and that album will always be near and dear to me.
No, it is a very nice album. And the way that everyone kind of like goes back to back with their experiences and stuff is very yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice.
Thank you,
And
man.
yeah, and I enjoyed that one. And then I can't remember the name of the song. I should have listened to it this morning to refresh myself, but I didn't. But because it made me laugh as well, because you had the same fuck, what was it? It was the same. It came out about the same time that Doja Cat one did, didn't it?
Oh, you're talking about seasonal people. Walk on by.
That's
And yeah,
yeah. I was like,
seasonal people. It
yeah,
came out the
yeah,
same year. But the thing is, I used a different sample
yeah.
than what Doja Cat used. Doja Cat used the Dionne Warwick sample of Walk On By. I used the New Birth,
Mm.
and I just flipped it into something else, and every time I play that shit when I'm performing it, I always play the original record first to just draw everybody in, and then I just drop seasonal people and motherfuckers just go crazy like
Yeah,
that.
I bet that's naughty.
Yeah,
There's something about that as well. Like when you see people people perform the originals, oh yeah, and then they just it just switches, and you're like,
yeah,
like you see, like the reels you see, and like they'll be like, how did so and so flip this into this, and then like they play this track, and you're like, this
hmm
is like what is this gonna be? And then they've taken these little stabs of whatever, and it turns into this, and you're like, oh God.
yeah. So that's that. Oh, we had so much fun with that record. That record is special because that record was originally supposed to have been from my boy Lou, and it sounded so much different from what you guys heard, what you hear now.
Yeah.
Um, I made that beat back in 2017. When I made it for Lou. We had another plan for it, but then, other ideas came into play, and I changed the drums on it, changed the bass line, and chopped it some more. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna put this on my album. I passed it over to P-Rob, and he was like, nah, this is mine. He just took that shit. He was like, nah, this mine. I already know what I'm gonna do. And the thing with P Rob and Lou, like their work ethics is is second to none. I can give them a record, tell them the concept, they'll write that shit the next day, record it, give it back to me. I was like, damn, see, this is why I love y'all. And if I had more artists like that, everything would be all right. But when I sent that version over to P-Rob and he heard it, he knocked it out, and we was scrambling to see who we're gonna get for the second verse. And I found this guy by the name of Ralph, who's P-Rob's guy out there in Jersey, and I let him listen to it. He killed that shit. As a matter of fact, a lot of people love his verse so much
Hmm.
he just had portables in it. But yeah, that's my favorite song on the album, man.
Yeah. I remember when I was at work listening to it, and I was like, oh, it's filthy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely filthy.
No, I
Just like
appreciate it,
just
man.
listening to it while I'm doing while I'm moving stuff around the world. I was like, yeah, this is nice. This is nice.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, it
Appreciate
was a
it.
very nice album. I should have listened to it this morning before doing this. I think feel a bit naughty now. But going on to the new album that you got with P Rob as well. What does time and space mean to you?
Time and space is the time it took us to make this project between the complexity and now and the space we was in when we was making it. Because when we was making our next follow-up album, it was originally supposed to be called Jungle Boy. And that's
Okay.
P Rob's alter ego. And we were aiming for that. But life gets in the way. I won't put any of that personal stuff out because that was what he went through. And he was like, no, it's been 4 years since we made Complexity. It's been a lot of time. And he was like, to be honest with you, I'm in another headspace. I said, me too. As a matter of fact, let's just do an EP called Time and Space, and it can reflect on the space that we're in right now while making music, and we could take this into a completely different direction. Because with Complexity, that was an introduction of P-Rob, and it was a lot slower and more boom bapish. Whereas with this one, I've worked with P-Rob so much over the years that my fan base know exactly who he is as well as his fan base. So it's like, let's take this and let's make something completely different, a different
Mm.
sound, a different approach, and just grab people in on this EP. And we did it.
Yeah. No, I enjoyed this one. I enjoyed this one a lot. It's my to be honest, it's gonna sound a bit weird. It's my favorite album to listen to on the bus.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I like to get in there and just sit down just vibe on the bus. Like get a little, I get like 20 minutes on the bus, but
Yeah.
whack it in, and yeah, and we good. I'm like, yeah, this is nice because like you go like the different stages,
Hmm.
the growing up, like growing up in track two, and you've got like the life testing you and everything about that in three, and then you find like you find your power in four,
Yeah.
and things like that. So that like as a kind of going back to kind of what we were saying about at like checkpoints in life with the albums is
Hmm.
yeah like the checkpoints with this, and yeah it's be like cinematic, like it's quite cinematic as well.
Yeah, thank you. Especially the intro. The intro, I was like, with this, because P Rob, he's a very spiritual guy,
Mm.
and he's Buddhist, so he really he loves that spirituality and getting in touch with himself. So I told him that since the theme is time and space, and it's like we're on a space shuttle, let me just design some sounds with that to make it seem like we're there, we're ready to take off, and you could just go from there. We found this sample from TD Jakes about him saying, you know, he may not be everybody's cup of tea. He is okay with that, but um, if I can get you to if I could touch your spirit, touch your soul, and I can reach you no matter who I am or what I look like. So, once I found that, I chopped it up to go perfectly with the theme of this EP, and I gave it back to him and let him listen to it. He was like, "Bro, I don't know how you do it, but this is perfect." So
Mm.
I did that, and I wanted to ease it in perfectly with Rise to the Top because he wanted to make an anthem. And I was like, you know what? Let's make if we're gonna make an anthem with this, and it's an ode to hip hop and overcoming everything that life throws at you, and you still make it to the top and make it to where you're gonna be. Let's go all in with it. So I hired a choir
Yeah.
to do backup for him and to close out the record and just make it more grand than what it already is.
I bet that cost you a fortune as well to hire
Yes,
a
it
choir.
did. Yes.
Goddamn choir.
Yes, it did. But you know what? It's money well spent.
Mm.
Got the profit back. So I'm not even mad at that, man.
No, no, mate. It's like, was it a, how'd you go about finding a choir? Like, was it a local church thing or like a big,
Yeah,
like,
it was a church choir
lovely?
that he was familiar with. I got to speak with him, give them the lyrics, and ask them to just go from there, and they agreed to it. They liked the concept. The fact that it didn't have any profanity on it, they was up for it. Easier for them. So yeah, it was good.
I bet that was something. Was you there in the recording of it or
Nah,
no?
because it was all over there. Like that's my downfall being here. But hey, I will call you on a video call and I will direct the hell out of you. I will hold up my camera and tell you, hey, I want it like this, I want it like that, and go on and so on and so on. So I may not be there, but you will feel my presence.
Yeah, yeah. Well, next time, mate.
Oh yeah,
Next
absolutely.
time you'll be there with the little stick and things conducting, be like, yo, do this.
Oh, trust me, that's on my bucket list. That's going to happen one of these days.
I can imagine. I remember there was something we did at uni, and we had to like score a piece, like basically
Hmm.
put together this piece of music. And then we had to go and tell these like instrumentalists that had come in and be like, okay, these are the chords, blah blah. This is kind of how we want this to sound and how thing. And then like, and so you're kind of used to listening to it on say Logic or FL or whatever, and then
Hmm.
to come in and listen to someone like do it in person, oh man, just took it to a whole nother level.
Oh yeah. When you hire musicians or you hire choirs or things of that nature, because I was doing that on in a company of others,
Mm,
it when you are able to do that, because not a lot of people are able to
mm,
to actually hire another piece of um musician on their project. But when you're able to do that and they're able to amplify the song that you're working on and take it somewhere else, it's a beautiful thing.
When you see people go in to when they came out
Hmm.
and like and I mean what three like the difference in them in 2 to 3 minutes from just having their piece played was
Hmm.
it was phenomenal, phenomenal. Uh, and then but also going back to the TD Jakes thing as well. Remind like I saw a reel this morning by, forgive me if I say his name wrong. Labi Sifray. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Oh,
Uh,
Labby Sif?
so, yeah,
Yeah.
it's like Safre.
Uh-huh.
Can't pronounce his last name, so forgive
No,
me
this is
if I've
so
slaughtered it.
good. Yeah.
But yeah, the he did the song "Something Inside So Strong," and then uh, and he was the guy that Kanye sampled on the "And I Wonder."
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah, he he'd done. I saw an interview or a clip of an interview he'd done, and he'd said in it that he didn't necessarily want to be seen in his music. He wanted to make the music and put it out there so that the music would tell what he wanted to tell rather than it being him tell the people
Yeah.
what they want. Uh, and again, it kind of reminds me of the like of Nina Simone where she says, you know, if you're gonna make music, document the times and stuff. But yeah, there was something about that, like because I don't know, I'm kind of thinking of sampling it to be honest as well as the Labi Sefre. But yeah, just basically saying like, I don't like there shouldn't really be a face to music. Music should be music. It shouldn't be, I like the music because I fuck with them or not. Yeah, I mean, yeah,
Yeah.
and that you saying about the TD Jakes thing just kind of reminded me of that. Um, but yeah, I like it. I like. All right, bit different one for you now. Bit of a different one. So, if you could create your ultimate 5 to 6 track project with unlimited resources, who would be your dream collab or who would be your dream collaborators and what would it look and feel like?
Oh man. I wanted that. I was asked this before, and I'll give my same answer. Lupe and Absol. I would love to do a project with both of them, just having them go back and forth. And I can only imagine what the brainstorming to be, coming up with the concept, me coming up with some of the craziest beats that I will ever make. That's my ultimate dream to do. I don't care if it's just a song, just to
Mm,
do it with Lupe and Ab-Soul. That's my ultimate bucket list. Like I love to work with both of them.
yeah. Man, you remember that fucking like on the vines and the memes and stuff where like it blows people's mind. You see all like those mathematical equations coming up on the
Yeah.
screen. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that's that's what it would be like. You'd just be there like,
Yeah, just brainstorming. And since both of these are very intelligent guys, I can only imagine all the shit that I will be also learning from them as well while working on this project. So, yeah, that's a huge dream for me.
yeah,
And
yeah,
like I said, I don't care if it's just one song. Just to have that will be everything to me.
God, the thing is, you wouldn't know. Like, it would be such an atmosphere. You wouldn't know whether it was real, whether it was conspiracy, whether it's a mixture of both. Where are we going? And like, they're very competitive guys.
Yeah.
Like, and just to me, I'd think they'd be so competitive. You'd probably never release it. They'd just constantly be going back and forth. It would always
I
be
can
like
say that.
it
Hmm.
would always be like the oh what did they call themselves? So all the members of TDE,
Oh, Black Hippie.
Jay, Black. What did they call
Yeah.
them? They called themselves a Black Hippie, wasn't it, or
Yeah.
something?
Black Hippie.
Yeah, the first group to never release an album.
Yeah. And it hurts, but you know what? I got a strong feeling that that's going to change this year. It keeps getting teased. And even though Kendrick isn't on TDE anymore, they keep teasing this track bodies, and I would not be surprised if all of them are on that record.
Hmm.
And it and either Black Hippie come out with something, or um it's gonna be on the TDE compilation album. But I have a strong feeling that we're gonna get something with all of them together. Like
Yeah.
I'm going to the tour next month, so I kept seeing clips of him performing that song on the tour, and I hope he's gonna perform it over here.
Oh, the Kendrick and SZA.
Yeah.
I thought they'd already been over here.
Nah, they just shut down the North America tour, and now it's gonna start. Now he's on the Europe leg of the tour, and
Oh,
it's gonna come over here July 23rd. Yeah,
nice. Oh, yeah, that'll be that's gonna be something.
yeah. I'm ready for it.
Yeah,
I'm ready.
I've seen the clips and stuff, and the hate that Drake like, and the hate with Drake and stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be something. It's gonna be something.
Yeah.
We should I don't know also see as well. I don't know if he'll bring them over or if any of them are in or around London at the same time.
Well, not Q-Tip, Schoolboy Q is, because Schoolboy Q gonna be here July 7th. I'll be at that show.
Yeah,
And yeah, like, I can't wait for that. So like, I'm calling July the road to TDE, because I'm gonna see Kendrick, SZA, and Schoolboy Q. All that's missing right now is J-Rock and Ab Soul.
you never know.
Yeah,
They might come along for it.
if they do, man, if they do. Now I'm
Yeah,
getting my hopes up for something that's not even happening yet.
yeah. Well, hey, you never know what they've got planned. Especially with Kendrick, like
Yeah, it's
he just
very unpredictable.
yeah, he just comes out with something. Like, I mean, the pop-up show he did on the West
Yeah,
Coast.
yeah,
I
that
mean, I don't think
was
anyone saw that coming.
no, not at all. It was a perfect showcase for the West Coast, and it also it also opened the doors for a lot of West Coast artists who haven't been heard outside of LA.
Mm.
Then since it was on Amazon, the world got to hear it. Yeah, it was great. Then we got a Black Hippie reunion at the show. It was like, man, it gets no better than that.
And then what? Like, yeah, and then you got the GNX and
Hmm.
stuff, and then he's helped put others from the West on as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's on it, mate. He's on it.
yeah,
So yeah, so what he's got planned for London, I don't know, but I think there'll be something special there.
it's gonna be insane.
Lovely. All right. So your last question is, what does the future look like for Big O?
Oh, the future look good for me right now. Got a lot of projects coming out this year and next year. Next year, I'm working on this project with Lou. One of This is one of our most ambitious projects yet. Uh, the name of the project is called "The Mystery of Mr. Y.N.M.A.S." Yeah, it's you're gonna have to think on this. I'm telling you that now. The first single will be coming out July 4th. Um, it's called "A Call with Fernie L." It's the lead single. Um, this project is gonna we're still working on it, but it's it's a fun project because the beats that I made on it, I've never made anything like this before. And
Yeah.
when we was brainstorming on how we wanted this to come to light, it sounds beautiful. And it sounds like adult contemporary hip hop that's kicking you in the ass when you listen to it. That's the
Yeah.
best way that I can describe it, because one, I'm so against this whole ageism in hip hop.
Oh,
And this album that we're working on, it sounds mature, it sounds elegant, it sounds energetic. It gives you so many wonderful feelings. So expect that next year.
oh man, I'm looking forward to that, mate. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to it. Like, what? All right. So two questions to go off the back of that. Then one, can you tell us what inspired the name, The Mystery of Mr. Yemis?
What is now, this is down to my boy Lou. Lou, when I say he's a thinker, he is a thinker. He'll always come up with different things, and we're not gonna reveal what the acronym stands for, but it is a character. Once you listen to the music,
Yeah.
you're gonna find different traits of this character within yourself.
Okay.
So it's a universal character that everybody can listen to from all different types of walks of life, and you can find things about this character that relates and speaks to you.
I'm on it. I'm on it. I'm waiting.
Yeah.
I'm waiting. Yeah.
And
And
then
then
like for me, my fourth instrumental album is coming out this year. It's the follow-up to the Mind's Mirror, but it's a
yeah.
completely different approach to how I make beats.
Nice. Nice. Is that that's a bit of a brain fart moment then? It's like, well, not necessarily inspired by Mr. Yemis, but a different approach like Mr. Yemis.
This is a different approach into since the Mind's Mirror was sample based and lo-fi driven. This is mostly me challenging myself to compose and put different hip hop elements into it as well. It's a it's basically an answer to people saying they're gonna do something, but instead of doing it, they just talk about it. Where in this album, I'm not just talking about it, I'm actually doing it,
Yeah.
and the name of the album is called When It's Not Said But Done.
Yeah.
And um it comes from when people say things like, oh, I want to create a new sound, or I want to lose weight, or I want to get a different job. Instead of just talking about it, actually do it. So
Yeah.
don't talk about it, be about it. So that's where this come from. And instead of me going around telling people, oh, I'm gonna come with a brand new sound, you're gonna hear the brand new sound.
Yeah. 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 And when does that one drop? Sorry.
That's I'm aiming for a September release.
Okay. All right. Just quickly then, what is your like? You said about eight like the ageism thing with Mr. Yemis. What is it? What is it that fucks you off about ageism?
People think just because you hit a certain age, you're supposed to stop rapping or you're supposed to go to jazz. And I think that's very ignorant.
Hmm.
Um, Believe it or not, that shit happens in all genres across the board. And people think that this type of music is only supposed to be for a young crowd, and once you hit a different age, you're not supposed to make music anymore. You're supposed to just, sit down, wither, and die. And I don't agree with that. It's the dumbest thing ever.
No, I agree with you. I said this before somewhere, but I kind of feel like age like not ageism. Ageism was kind of made up by someone that didn't really know what to do, and found someone they couldn't really exploit.
Yeah.
I think someone that had a lot of pull found someone that he wasn't able to pull basically,
Hmm.
and he just said, "Oh yeah, do you know what I want out of this? We're gonna make up this thing called ageism. You're gonna sod off now, and I'm gonna bring in this young person that basically wants it, and I'm gonna take full control of what they do and ruin their life."
Yeah.
It's basically how I feel ageism come about, and then because this guy had a bit of pull and was probably a bit of a name, everyone was like, "Oh well, if he says it, we'll do it," and I feel that's kind of how it came about
Yeah.
because yeah, like yeah, like young people music stuff is it's cool. It's got its thing, But then when you sometimes you grow up, sometimes you just want to hear someone moan about their mortgage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Or talk about how bad their kids are.
yeah,
Something like that. Yeah.
yeah. Sitting on the porch, just fucking flipping the bird to someone that drives past. You know what I mean? Like sometimes we want it. Sometimes just want to hear something that we're kind of going through rather than who the fuck's got ops and fucking
Yeah.
some other shit that I'm well out of tune with. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I don't want to sit on the bus listening to drug dealers. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No,
Like, I want to fucking
understandable.
sit on a bus and think about why the fuck am I going to work?
Yeah.
Like and share and being able to share that with someone, like being like, oh, I'm not. I'm not alone in this, although everyone knows they're not alone in going to a 9 to 5, but like hearing someone tell their story of why they don't want to go to the 9 to 5, or why are they doing this when they want to do this, because we unfortunately we have to pay bills, and we got mouths to feed, and blah blah blah, and hearing all that, and it's the as we grow up, I feel like it's being heard, and relatability. So, and then like, and plus, but you don't, and it's annoying because it's only like you only really hear of it in hip hop. You don't necessarily hear about it in like the other genres, because a lot of their a lot of their parents, a lot of their parents are like the grandparents were like fans of it, and it's been passed down to them, and then they'll listen to it, and it's been passed down, and now it's passed down to the younger generations that like, I mean, look at the Rolling Stones. There's a combined
Yeah.
age of like fucking, was it nearly 200 between them?
Yeah. Between them, yeah.
Yeah. Like, Metallica are sit like 60 something years old. And there's a few others to go on, but like they're still selling out arenas and stuff like that. And it kind of makes you wonder, like, what, like, how has it been so different, or how long does it take until the hip hop gets to be able to do that? I mean, we still have some that are doing it. I mean, look at Nas, look at Wu
Yeah,
Tang
Nas. Hmm.
and stuff like that. Like Wu Tang have got oh fuck's sake, they just released that. Fucking, I am shit with names today. Um,
Black
oh god,
Samson
yeah,
album.
that's the
Yeah,
one with
yeah.
with mathematics.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just released that.
And they got the
Go,
world tour going on right now, their
yeah,
final tour. And they got a video game that's about to
yeah,
come out.
yeah.
So
We've got,
they're,
yeah, from Ghostface Killer. RZA's got a
yeah.
horror movie coming out.
Uh-huh.
Ghostface Killer's meant to have Supreme Clientele 2
Hmm.
at some point. Raekwon's got the Only Built for Cuban Link's 30th anniversary like coming out.
Yeah.
So yeah, so I mean, there are still people doing it. Redman just had Muddy Waters too.
Slick Rick just dropped Victory last week.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, and then you've got the others coming. Yeah, and you've got Raekwon coming out on Mass Effect as well.
Mass
Um,
Appeal
Mass
and
Appeal. That's it.
yeah.
Sorry. Yeah.
Then De La
Big L.
Soul, Big L,
Yeah.
and uh, DJ Premier and Nas coming
Mm-hmm.
with their album. Yeah, and Ghostface supposed to be coming with his album and Mobb Deep. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of legends
Yeah.
are
Havoc
still
and Method
doing
Man.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of legends are still coming with albums and they're still active. And yeah, it's this ageism shit just gotta stop. It really does.
Yeah. Because I mean, I don't know much about the indie as much as yourself. Um, but I feel it's very underground, rather than
Yeah.
the main, because the mainstream just feels like it's, we're just gonna find someone we can either exploit sexually,
Hmm.
or someone that we can just full on exploit.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that
You're right.
that
You're right
that's
about that.
that's kind of what it feels like. It's like, well, if you're a young man and you're kind of good looking, we'll do this, but we're probably just gonna mug you off from your bank account. But if you're a female, it just kind of feels like, we're not really necessarily interested in what you guys say. We're just gonna sell, like, just gonna sell you, basically, is what it feels like to me. I mean,
Yeah.
like, so yeah, and it kind of horrible to see someone, like, from when you go back on, or when you have the chance to go back and see people's catalog before, to what they've been. I don't know if they're like forced seems a bit of a naughty word, but I'll use it.
It
But
seems that way. Have you ever watched this show called The Idol? It
uh
came out two
I
years
haven't,
ago
but isn't I
with,
think that's the one with the weekend, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I've heard about it, but I've not watched it.
I mean the acting from the weekend is bad, but if it looks a lot like what's going on right now in the industry, especially with pop music.
Mm.
Um, if someone has a mental illness, but they're talented, exploit the fuck out of it. So that's LA for you.
Yeah, yeah. I think that's well, might be LA, but I think that's also like a lot of people's is can like, what have you got? I've got this. Can you function? Yeah, good. Like,
Yeah, and that was the
it's the
premise of
money,
the
it's the money. Get in there, we're going.
yeah, that was pretty much the premise of the show. And the premise of the show was actually really, really good and really telling, especially of how the industry is. They just focused on the bad acting from Weekend and the sex cult that he had in there. But all that shit aside, look at how the industry exploits and makes money off of people who suffer from uh, any type of mental illness.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like, have you, well, I haven't seen the Amy Winehouse one, so I can't necessarily speak on that one. But you've got the Avicii documentary. I think it's like I think the newest one they dropped was I Am Tim, something
Yeah.
like that. And yeah, that one's quite a heart puller to watch. Like
Jeez.
watching him make levels, um, and then kind of where he like, and then all the other people that he'd worked with and where he wanted to go with music, and then kind of watching him turn to the drugs because he was finding it hard. And then and then he quit for a bit because he didn't enjoy music because of what the industry had made it.
Yeah.
And then then he starts coming back. Yeah, and then all of a sudden you find out he's gone. Yeah, it's a hell of a thing to watch. But yeah, it's on Netflix if you're
Okay.
interested in watching it. But yeah, happy days, happy days. All right, mate. Yeah, I've got no other questions for you. So,
Cool. Cool.
all right, but
Hmm.
I'll just wrap this up quick. Actually, tell the world where I always forget this. Tell the world where to find you.
You can find me on IG. Just find me at the real Big O. That's at the period real period Big O. You can find me on Twitter, X with at big capital O. Uh, I'm on Spotify, YouTube, Tidal, Apple Music. I'm everywhere. Just type in Big O. Not hard to miss. You can catch me on there. I'm also on Bandcamp. You can catch me on Bandcamp as Big O as well. And that's pretty much that.
Lovely, lovely. All right, I'll just quickly wrap this up. Stick around a minute.
All right.
All right, people. This has been for the lag of God, and we have been speaking to producer Big O. Until next time, people. Peace.